Hello, Dr. Clarke. What a great pleasure to have you with us today. I'm always excited to get an opportunity to talk with you, and this time is particularly special because, as I mentioned to you before, I always feel like I learn something new every time we talk. Now, as you know, there's been a lot of discussion lately about our immune system. So help us understand in terms of the importance of having an immune system towards your overall health.
Exactly. So if your immune system isn't functioning well, you would be susceptible to much more infections. That would be the first problem that you would have. With significant infections, you're much more likely to have morbidities or even mortalities. So having an enhanced, good, active immune system is in all of our favors.
Okay, so now let's talk about a little bit about what you've been doing for us. So our studies are a little bit different than what you typically do. What was compelling about the 4Life experiments compared to the normal research that you run on a day-to-day basis?
Yes, your experiments are quite delightful. It gives us a change of pace here in the lab. A lot of our experiments are looking at hematopoietic systems. So then 4Life comes along, and they have a totally different aspect. They are looking, instead of looking at off-target effects, they're looking for on-target effects. And more specifically, they're looking to see if any of their compounds could potentially enhance the immune system. So instead of doing a toxicity situation, we're now doing an efficacy situation, which is equally enjoyable and rewarding, and a change of pace, as I say, in the lab.
Well, that's wonderful. So in these 4Life experiments, what is actually happening to these immune cells, these natural killer cells, during the treatment with transfer factor?
So what we do first of all is when we get compounds from 4Life, they all come to us coded. This means for us in the lab that we're doing the studies in what we call a blinded manner. This means there's absolutely no bias. We don't know what you're sending us. We don't know if you're sending us water or wine or something a little bit more interesting. What we do is if we receive a powder, we get the powder into solution, and then we incubate this solution with the transfer factors with peripheral blood mononuclear cells. So they're blood cells, just like the ones in your body. They're derived from normal donors under appropriate conditions. And we incubate those solutions with these peripheral blood cells at temperatures similar to that of our body, which is 37 degrees. We then put in third-party cells and ask the question, with the solutions, with the transfer factors, are they more likely to be able to kill certain cell subsets? And that we analyze using the flow cytometer that we've described.
Wow, that's great. So tell me, is transfer factor activating natural killer cells to go after these health threats?
Potentially. In our assays, we can see that there is increased cell death. That's what we're detecting on our flow cytometer. And since everything is done in a blinded manner, and since we do everything in triplicate, we generate the data, present it to our client, which is 4Life, and then we actually together look at the data sets and decide if there are changes in some compounds compared to what we would consider our standard controls. So it's done in a very detail-oriented way with absolutely no bias, and the data speaks for itself.
Absolutely. Wow, this is such incredible work. And I just want to say that you are an amazing person and an amazing scientist, and you bring such great value to our research. And so on behalf of 4Life and all of our distributors and customers from around the world, thank you for your time and for your insights.
It's always a delight chatting with you, David. Always.